Hi, Jane here. Thanks for joining me. I'm a huge fan of empowering you, as are the speakers in our Go Big series. Have you stopped to think recently what you really want in your life? Do you feel like you were meant for more, as I had for so many years? What's the big goal that you want to achieve this coming year, or a fear that you finally want to get over? If you're ready to re envision your future and launch your big idea, maybe spread your influence or get over a fear finally, then I invite you to join me and some of our speakers. We want to help you empower your mindset, build your vision, and own your dream. Stop needing to be right and let's do this now together. Go to janeapplegath.com, click on Go Big Sign Up, and I will see you there. Sending you much love and success. Have an incredibly epic day. Hope to see you soon. Hi, everyone. I'm Jane Applegath. Welcome to the Epic Vision Zone, where some of the world's most successful self-made women and men share their multi-million-dollar ideas, their high-performance habits, visionary mindsets, and resources so you can hit the go button on your epic life. Bill Moyers wrote, "Creativity is piercing the mundane to find the marvelous." Today's epic female entrepreneur knows all about creativity. Maryann Cruz will take you on a deep dive to spark your imagination, gain clarity, build confidence, and ignite momentum in your business. Co-founder of C3 Collaborative, Maryann calls herself an entrepreneur's greatest co-pilot to success. A business strategist and coach, Maryann spent 25 years in all facets of business operations and knows what it takes to succeed in business beyond entrepreneurial passion. Recognizing the importance of building a solid foundation to achieve one's vision and guiding creatives through this essential process is where she thrives. Using signature strategies, expert tools, action plans, and community, Maryann shows passionate entrepreneurs how to scale their business in a creative and collaborative environment using live and online workshops. She believes, as Albert Einstein so brilliantly put it, creativity is intelligence having fun. Welcome, Maryann. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me, Jane.
Well, we'll just dive right in because I am so interested in sharing your expertise with our audience, which is one of my favorite topics. Tell us about your journey from corporate employee to entrepreneur.
Let's see. I left corporate 5 years ago, and I had a position in which I was already on my third year. So I was starting my third year. I was on my fifth boss. And honestly, it was taxing on me. I felt like I was constantly trying to prove myself to someone new at every moment. And then there was discussion of international travel.
Well, I'm sure many people can resonate with that, knowing that when you work for a corporation, your life sometimes, and not almost most times, belongs to them. And I am so interested in knowing about you taking the action, because tell us how that felt when you finally took that step to move out of that comfort zone, and any advice that you could give to those who might be listening who are feeling stuck right now in a thankless job.
Okay. Well, initially, I felt excited. I thought that I was going to have full control over the way that I spent my day, my time, my energy. And in my mind, I had a vision of what my daily routine would be. However, that's not how it turned out to be. On a daily basis, because friends and family knew that I was home, they automatically assumed that I didn't have anything to do. I was just lounging around. And so I immediately realized that I needed to set some boundaries because people wanted to catch up. When I was working corporate, I was typically working 50-hour work week. And so now they thought, hey, she's home, we can tap into that. And so, as I said, did boundaries. And what I started to do was actually pretend that I was going into work as I would, and not take the calls, not answer the door, and just be mindful and tell people, I'm on virtual calls. I have things that I'm actually doing. It's not just lounging around. But for those people that feel that they're stuck, I would basically say take inventory. Take inventory of, what is it that you truly enjoy doing? What is it that you would love to do on a daily basis? And, what is it that you would like to change? Because usually when we're in a job, there's things that we love and then there's things that we don't. And so I would say that would be one. Also, how much do you need financially in order to be successful in life and in business? And then whether or not you have your spouse's support is extremely essential, because when you go through those highs and lows, they're the ones that are going to help you along the way. Um, and I would say, most importantly, realize that being an entrepreneur has its great moments and it has its down moments. It truly is a roller coaster ride. So you don't know what's going to be at the next turn.
Yes, I love that because you did say we had an earlier conversation and you mentioned the roller coaster and said that you want to embrace the ride, not to try and fight the ride, because you're right. Every day is different. You create your own world, you create your own working environment. And I love the fact that you said you would imagine that you were at work and not answer the phone or the doorbell, et cetera, and do what it takes. But such great insight and great tools for people to use so that if they are feeling stuck, they can start to move into that direction by taking inventory, and maybe journaling that too would be great, so that they can they
Absolutely.
can they can realize their dream. So what does C3 Collaborative stand for, and share your big vision for C3?
Okay, so C3 what stands for Creative Collaborative Community. And the big vision was to bring both critical mindsets and creatives together for innovation, collaboration, and growth. And so we initially thought it would be fantastic. I am not a creative. My husband is a creative, and I am a little bit of more of the critical thinker. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's in reverse, but we complement each other because we are total opposites. And we thought that that would be something great for the community as well, where creatives have this abundance of ideas, the critical mindset bring together the framework and the structure that they need.
Yes, absolutely. Because you have both sides of the coin. I know that you have online, but you also have a space for creatives, which is really fabulous. Fortunately, I'm not in your neighborhood. Otherwise, I would be there in a nanosecond for sure. And I'll have you touch on that a little bit later. But I love the three C's. So it was community, creative, and collaborative.
It's collaborative, correct?
Right, right, which go beautifully together. So, two of the biggest entrepreneurial challenges are time management and client acquisition. I hear it all the time, and I'm sure you probably do as well. What strategies would you apply to help with these roadblocks, I guess, if you want to put it?
Absolutely. So for time management, I would say time block. Think of the top three things that you need to achieve on a weekly basis to move your business forward, and time block. Make sure that it becomes priority and that you actually have the time to execute. Because we can think a million and one things, we can even plan it, but if we're not executing it, then we're not getting it done. And then the other one in regards to client acquisition, I would say network, right? And beyond your comfort zone. So this past year, I've realized that the globe is really small because we can reach anyone at any point in time. And so I would say be sure that you are networking and being mindful of who you're networking with, but also it's important to understand who your clients are, what it is that they need, and what value your service or product is providing to your clients.
Right. Because if you are networking, you want to make sure, or at least go in the direction of those that you're looking for, the clients that will resonate with whatever your product or your service, uh, because that does make a difference. The company that we keep makes a big difference too. But I love that the time blocking is very important, because we get scattered as entrepreneurs, right? I mean, there's usually you have so many things to do. It's not as though you're leisurely and walking around with so much time on your hands to talk to your friends and family. It's like, no, I have
Right.
so much to do. I don't have time for anyone. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's great. So I when we had our earlier talk, I love this. You said that creating a solid business foundation is vital to creating a successful business. So delve into that a little bit, because I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs here that would love to understand what that means and how they can go about achieving it.
So, building a solid foundation to me is understanding all the facets, and not that you need to understand everything in depth, but you do need to be aware of what it takes to have your business function. And I mean, function above and beyond, right? So, building the solid foundation is having everything in order. Um, how do you obtain your clients? How do you get referrals? How are you receiving payments? Thinking of your customer journey, right? What is it that you're providing to your clients? And how is it that you're engaging with them consistently, but also the back end and operations, right? So that you're not doing things over and over again repetitively. You incorporate systems. So, and I know that we'll talk about the STAR program a little bit later, but building the foundation is having everything so that it works smoothly and streamlined, so that once you're ready to get to that next level, you're not going back and redoing everything and wasting time.
Yes, and it also helps, maybe settle the mind when you know that you have those systems in place. Because I know that when we're scattered, we're thinking, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. We get stressed. It creates stress for us. So having a solid foundation helps relieves the stress of being an
Absolutely.
entrepreneur, and also helps create a roadmap, for lack of a better word, because we have an idea of where we're going. I always relate it to, building a house. If you don't have a solid foundation, once you get those walls up, they're not going to stay up. They're just going to come crashing down. So now, creativity, taming the chaos. Speaking of chaos, how do we take an abundance of ideas and find the clarity to inspire opportunities out of that chaos? And that, I know that's for me, that's a big question, but I'd love to get your insight, because I know you do work with creatives and that's one of your C's. So
Right.
tell us how you would approach that if a client came to you and say, look, I don't have a lack of ideas. I have too many ideas. What am I supposed to do with them all?
That is actually the common thing, right? With creatives, you have an abundance of ideas. And so, what I often say is, okay, out of those ideas, which one is it that you're going to focus on now that's going to, again, move your business forward? Or which one do you have most of the things already set in place? And so you're not doing heavy lifting. You can actually just execute and it's already done. And I often say, do not go and fall for the shiny object, right? Because you have an abundance of ideas and creativity, don't always keep switching things up, because then you don't know what's truly working or not working within business.
Right. I could see that. So, do you work with them to have them make a list, for example, of the ideas so that you can hone in on possibly where their concentration should be?
So there's a few different techniques that I use. One is mind mapping, where I get them to just focus in on and basically download everything that's in their mind. And then from the download, we go through and, identify what areas they should be focused on, sometimes for the week, sometimes for the day, sometimes for the hour, depending on how many ideas they have.
I love that, the mind mapping. Just getting it all out there. It's
Absolutely.
like it's like I keep thinking barfing up all your ideas, which sounds disgusting, but that's pretty much what it is, right? Just let them all out.
It
And
truly
that'll break
is.
the ice, right? Oh my gosh. Terrible visual, Jane, but it certainly is applicable. So let's get into your STAR program, which is your signature program, and this might help unfold some of the techniques that you use with your clients. So just unwrap that for us.
Okay. The STAR program is my 6 month program that I've created. I've created the framework. And STAR is an acronym, which stands for S. We go through success mindset. If you do not have the mindset to succeed, then you will stop and start and stop and start until you are ready and say, okay, you have to identify everything that's happening and that's holding you back. The T is target market and trends. So being able to understand who your true ideal client is, how trends impact your business. Then there's A, which is all things awareness. So, all things marketing, and I mean beyond social media, right? So, being able to network, have podcasts, go through presentations, and so much more. And then R, the first R, because of course I need to have two. The first R is revenue. So, having multiple revenue streams. And the last R is repetition. So, ensuring that you understand what those manual processes are that need to be streamlined.
That's great framework. I love it. It gives people guidelines to follow, and sort of get all of those ideas and those processes that you need to put in place, but it gets you thinking that way. So I think that's a great program, and it's 6 months. So I'm assuming that you really dive deep into that.
We do.
Yeah. So that's online as well.
So I'm in the process of creating the Star Business Academy, which will launch in November. And then that will be a faster pace. It's digitized, so they'll be able to do it on by themselves with my guidance. And instead of 6 months, they can build their solid foundation in 3 months.
Wow, that'll be fantastic. Can't wait. And we'll have that info for you. But moving on to this question, because we had this discussion, it's not all about you, meaning you as the entrepreneur. When developing a product or service, you tell your clients it's not about you. Tell us why every entrepreneur should understand and practice this.
It truly is not about us. We love to think about that it is, because it's our passion that's, moved us into business or has developed the product or service. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're providing your client or customer with a solution, right? The goal is to make them happy so that they can sleep at night a little bit better and move forward and succeed in their life. So for me, it's not about you. It's truly about your client.
Yeah, we like to think it's about us. It's all about us. And when you're developing your product or service, that's a good point to keep in mind, because you
Right.
might have something that you are hell bent on teaching, but it's something that nobody's interested in. So it's
Exactly.
really something that goes all the way around to whatever it is you're going to succeed in. So, how do you get someone to begin to create a vision, a bigger vision, if they come to you with an idea, but they don't see that long term vision?
So that's when I usually start asking the deeper questions because chances are it's within them. They just haven't explored it fully. So being able to ask them, okay, what is it that you truly enjoy about this? Or what are your hopes and aspirations for this? Is it a hobby? Is it something that you're looking to do and leave a legacy for your family? Is it that you're seeking to impact multiple people around the world? And that's when they truly start thinking a little bit outside of just what's in front of them right then and there.
Those are great questions. Yes, I love that. Now, you have a wonderful philosophy, and we talked about it, and I'm bringing it up here because I feel that this is something every entrepreneur needs to know and practice. Tell us about your win, win, win philosophy.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So win 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 is when you're collaborating or even when you're partnering with someone from a business perspective. It always has to benefit three people. It has to benefit the person that's doing it, your guest. We can use this as an example, right? So it has to benefit you, it has to benefit your guest, which would be me, but ultimately, and most importantly, it needs to benefit the audience because it's, again, all about them. So being able to have that win 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 is always great.
Yes, I love that philosophy. For me, it says so much about the individual and their business practices, and it's reciprocity. It's giving back. That saying, what goes around comes around. It really does. And I love that win win win. It puts it in very, very simple terms. So you did touch briefly on the Star Business Academy. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that so you can get some interest generated to some of our listeners who might be either in business or starting a business? Is it for people who are already in business? What is the goal, and what clientele would be suitable for it?
That's an excellent question. So it can be anyone that is starting in business, but ultimately I've noticed that majority of my clients are those people that have been in business for 2 to 3 years and have realized that, okay, maybe the clients that they initially had were just referrals from friends and family, right? And now they're ready for more. They are still unsure as to, okay, what that next step would be in regards to clients or in regards to pricing, right? They know how much they need to make on a monthly basis and they're not quite there yet. And they don't know how to package so that it's maximizing their profit, right? And not
Mhm.
just making ends meet. And so I would say that. And those people who feel like they've been volunteers in their business, stop being a volunteer, be the boss of your business.
I love that. That's great. You're a volunteer in your business. Oh my gosh, I'm sure we've all been there. That's a great way of putting it. I love that, Maryann. So, branding, I know that you do, because I did read you've got the mind mapping. Just let us know, do you cover branding in that as well? It sounds like you would, and marketing. Do you like you take a overview of a company that's been in business, and then either if they're revamping or they want to expand? So do you touch on branding and marketing as well?
We do. So I go through, and that's the part of the awareness piece so that they
Okay.
understand, okay, what's working, what are their marketing channels, what's the marketing mix, and the importance of them being able to understand their metrics and their KPIs, which is their key performance indicators. Most people do the actions, but they don't look at the analytics. So,
Mm. because that could be scary. we
It
don't want
can.
we don't want to be faced with analytics. My Lord, that could just drive us into depression. No, I'm just kidding. But I know that there it's great to have someone like you and your co-founder, which is your husband, holding our
Yes,
feet to the fire, because that's accountability, right? And I think
it
that
is.
accountability is a huge part of being an entrepreneur, because often we're by ourselves and there is no one to keep us accountable. And the community is also something that is vital, because when we bounce ideas off of others or we bring our challenges to the table, there could be someone there that could say, hey, listen, this is what I did, or maybe you could try this, or maybe this individual will fit in your network but doesn't fit in mine. So I love that. And that actually segues right into my next introduction with creative space, because I know that you have an actual brick and mortar space that you have created. And just in case anyone happens to be in your area, tell us where it is and just some of the things that are available in that space.
Okay, absolutely. So we are located in East Hartford, Connecticut, so on the East Coast, between New York and Boston. And I would say that we have four offices, two conference rooms, and we have labs that we host. So on a monthly basis, we have different topics that we discuss with our members.
I love that. The idea of labs. Will you ever be going virtual with the labs?
So we actually do a hybrid. So last month, for
Hmm.
example, we did content creation labs where we had people attend virtually and then we had people in the building as well. And they were able to plan out or strategize a full year worth of content. So
Wow, that is fantastic. My gosh, that would be so valuable. Um, I can't wait for that to come up again. Content creation. Yeah, that would be great. So even though they are labs, and if you are in the area, they're available there, but you can uh, attend them virtually as well, correct?
correct.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wonderful. Okay, wonderful. And we'll have all that information available in the bio. So any last words that you'd like to share with our audience, Maryann?
I would say if you have a passion, if you have this thought and it's been pulling at you for a long time, it's time to explore it. Um, you just never know what will happen. For us, we purchased the building a month before the pandemic. We closed, and we thought that we were going to have this grand opening and we had to pivot, right? But here we are. We're still here and moving towards that vision.
Yes. Pivoting has been one of the biggest words in the last year and a half, but it also lends itself to those who can think on their feet, move out of their comfort zone, and get creative, because that's what it's taken. This whole pandemic scenario has, whether you like it or not, forced us into living outside of our comfort zone. So
Absolutely.
it's I'm so glad that you were able to keep your building, and that now things are moving forward, and it seems really exciting. I'm excited for you and your business. And
Thank
because
you.
we're here on the Epic Vision Zone, I wanted to ask you one last question. If your life were an epic story, what would the title be?
Enough. It's funny because I'm actually thinking of writing a book titled Enough. And enough meaning, and it's a double entendre, enough as in I've had enough, right, with X chapter or whatever chapters that were at the past. So you're ready to embrace the future, but also I am enough because you absolutely are enough to pursue your passion in life. Don't let anybody say otherwise.
I can't wait to read it.
Thank you.
Sounds amazing. I can actually picture it because it's such a one word, right across the cover. It's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, how can people connect with you?
I would say the best way to connect is through C3. So visit the website, or you can email me, and I know I'll provide you with that information and you can make it available. But everywhere I am Maryann Cruz, business strategist.
Okay, terrific. And like I said at the beginning, we will have all of that information on Maryann's bio. And I wanted to thank you again for joining us and giving us all those wonderful insights and tips. And be sure to continue to look at her site because there's things evolving and growing. And I know it's going to be super exciting. Maryann and I are going to stay in touch because we both enjoy the same wheelhouse. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at Jane Applegath and check out how you can become an epic entrepreneur at janeapplegath.com. This is the Epic Vision Zone, transforming your dream into epic success.